So you went to the thrift store and found these 5 items that you think have so much potential. Other people may not see it, but you feel it in your bones. Well, let me assure you, this can be turned into this. And today I'm going to show you how to turn the most basic thrifted items into those that your friends are going to be like, "Hey friend, that's my best friend. Don't you want to let me borrow that?" I'm Angelina and this is BlueprintDIY, where we remake our clothes to be as unique as us. Well, first up, what do you do with those junior dresses that you find at the thrift store? Really like the fabric and a basic shape, but you don't want to wear it because you're a grown woman. Well, I like to turn them into tops. For this first one, we're just going to cut it off at the desired length by measuring and adding pins and then cutting. Then I'll fold it over about an inch and iron it down. Then I'll sew down the hem. Next, I'll take what used to be the bottom of the dress because it already has a large hem, and I'll cut 1.5 inch strips from it. You'll have to make yours bigger if the hem was not large to start off with. Also, I couldn't cut very long strips, so I'm going to make 2 strips per arm. Next, I turn them inside out and sew down the top and the side seam. Once I've done that, I turn them right side out and iron them flat. Then I can sew them down at the side seam where they'll be underneath my arm. Now I have a really cute peplum top with arm ties. And definitely stick around to the end so you can see how I style all these. Now for that next junior dress, I'm going to do something a little different. I call this the double bubble gather. I'm going to lay the dress flat and take the bottom of the hem and pin it to the waist seam. Now I can play around with making a bubbling effect by folding it up to make 2 layers. When I get it just how I like it, I can add a pin between the top and bottom layers. Next, I can take the first pin out and lay it flat so that there's just one fold. This is going to tell me how much to fold it all the way around for the first layer. Once I have it folded and pinned all the way around, I can take it to my sewing machine and add a gathering stitch, about 1 inch below the hemline. Then I'll pull the string to gather it so it's the same width as the waist, being careful to account for the elastic part at the back. Once I have it all gathered, I pin it to the waist seam and then sew it down. So now we have a double bubble top that's anything but junior. Okay, so this next one is a little crazy, but you guys know I'm a renegade and I don't care about failing. I know it's snow pants, but I love the silver metal accents on the suspenders, so I figured surely I can do something with these. There's only one problem. They're ripped right underneath the bum area, so I just decided to cut it off and make shorts. I added 2 seams about 1/4 inch from the edge and cut away the excess cushion layer. Then I pulled the edges to make it fray. I really like how it looks like feathers now. I figured that this would be a really great late summer beach cover up, but you can see how I styled it at the end. Okay, so what do you do with that random romper with the bad elastic waist? Well, first you take out that bad elastic and iron the seam flat. Then you can cut off the bad elastic at the top and create a deep hem. You can see that at first I tried to do it with the elastic at the top, but I really didn't like it, so I cut it off and then added the hem. Then you can add grommets. These are large grommets that are typically used for curtains, but I really love them. Then you can add any type of strap that you want. This used to be a curtain tie-back cord, and I'm just going to put it through and tie. Then cut the excess of the inside cording. You can even get creative and play around with different types of knots. Okay, and what about that t-shirt? I have found some of the best t-shirts in the men's section of the thrift store. So why not cut it up and combine it with another men's item like a football jersey? So I just cut a rectangle out of the back of the t-shirt from right underneath the rear of the collar to about 5 inches above the hem. Then you can use that piece that you cut out to cut a piece of the jersey that's about 1/2 inch bigger on all sides. Now I can take the extra t-shirt and cut off strips that are double the width of my D-rings and about 3 inches long. Now I fold the edges over and sew them down. Then I add a D-ring to each one and fold it in half. Then pin it down where you want it to the inside while folding the t-shirt cut out under. Make sure you add 2 D-rings to the bottom one so it acts like a belt loop and keeps the belting secure. Now turn it inside out and sew the jersey to the t-shirt and D-ring loops. Lastly, I'm going to cut a V at the front. To do this, I'm simply going to fold the t-shirt in half and cut a V. Then I just cut it away as close as possible to the neckline. Now you can add whatever type of belting or strapping you like to the back. So what do you think of these transformations? I love how small changes and added details can make such a big difference. Go check the description box to see what small changes other people are making to their wardrobe, because I have some of the most creative subscribers ever, and we can definitely all learn from one another. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this renegade upcycling fun. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye.